I don't want India to be the factory of the world.
Lockdown is best opportunity India has got in a long time.
Hey, hi Sammy.
Hey,
You are at your place, I am at my place, and we thought, what better use can we make of this time? Just let's put our mind to think of the scenarios that's going to happen post lockdown. Between us, we've just put down what 4 to 5 points, right? So the first one was impact on our existing project. What
yes,
has this lockdown done to the
yes,
scenario of the work that is going on currently underway? The second point was the impact on new projects
new
that are
project.
going to
Third one is socio-economic impact. Basically,
come with
people reacting to it, one on in an economic sense, and second in a social context.
The fourth point was very important, and that was government impetus to projects. So
So, what kind
whatever
of
we
projects government of India would now be pushing forward
correct.
henceforth?
Finally, of course, the most favorite point these days has become our
China
dependency
bashing.
on China and our good friend
My
China.
favorite sport these days.
How do we evolve our friendship with China? Do we say a katti or is it a batti still?
So let's start with the impact on existing projects.
Why don't you say how we have been addressing all our client needs, meetings?
Impact on existing projects, we had divided into three subcategories. One was client interaction, second was site management, third was site delivery, right? Even though we are a very technologically savvy company, a lot of our clients never wanted to interface on a video conferencing platforms. They wanted that face to face.
So, Sam, of course, we are a technologically savvy company, but in that technologically savvy company, there are people like me who are not very friendly to technology, and that goes with many of our
But you're
clients.
doing brilliantly well these days.
Yeah. But what this has just done is among the numerous con calls that we've had with our clients, and I've realized they've got comfortable, they've got easy with the technology.
Yes,
They're not so
more
scared
accepting.
and apprehensive about new technology and how to deal with it. By sharing screens, we are showing them drawings, we're showing them progress, so they're more accepting. So I think the new thing would be given social distancing. I don't expect people to be immediately wanting to meet everybody physically.
Yes.
So they would be more open to these kind of digital meetings given the next 2 3 months.
See, there are certain meetings where you need that client interface. You need one to one. You need to have a hardcore discussion. But those are only 10-20% of the meetings. 80% meetings are just updates. So
Absolutely.
even I don't see any sense in actually meeting clients over this, which we have always been actually pushing. That you don't need to meet. You just need to update, give a face to face. It's a blessing in disguise. In fact, I think so that people are now more accepting to the fact that you can really resolve a lot of small issues over a video conferencing call.
So as just before this, as you're aware, Sam, we just got a call from a corporate client of ours.
Yes.
So, and they are also looking forward to making their workspace more efficient.
Yeah.
So even they were talking about concepts like hot desking and how we can revamp their current workspace into a hot desking kind of a scenario. So though these concepts have been in practice for ages, now nearly a decade, but even corporates were apprehensive of putting it into practice.
The corporates were initially doing it for that fashion statement of
Yes.
having a hot desking office, young office to attract new guys. But now the perspective, maybe the end result will be the same. They'll still provide the hot desking, but the psychologically their thinking has changed in why provide us hot desk. It's not to do with being yuppie anymore. It's more to do with the requirement, the need are.
How do you think we have fared in tackling the design and drawing part of it, given these kind of remote situations?
Personal level, I feel we could have done better. But considering that we were already in that ecosystem of video conferencing and everybody was already in the system of video conferencing, they were not feeling very awkward doing it. Whereas a lot of people must have wasted a lot of time getting just used to these systems, creating accounts, everything. Whereas in our company, it was just natural flow of events that way. Where we have really faced a problem is actually discussing an idea. The problem is where you have to brainstorm and explain an idea, and with these poor internet connections these days, it's becoming a bit of a hassle trying to communicate over a video conferencing call also.
But overall, it's not. It's been a new learning. I
Yes.
think I would look at it very positively. Agreed that we are not all working to our maximum capacity or output that we could give, but it's not been bad. It's
Yeah.
not come down to zero. Even if we have achieved 70% of our targets, I think it's wonderful.
So now we are discussing impact on site management. Okay.
Okay,
तो एक पार्ट तो हो गया जहां पे हमें क्लाइंट के साथ इंटरेक्ट करना पड़ता है, विच इज द इजी बिट, जिसमें सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग इज समथिंग दैट कैन बी केटर्ड विद टेक्नोलॉजी at a broad
correct,
level. Not
correct,
100%, but 60-70% you can handle it.
correct.
But there are things like site management. Our profession is on the site actually in a way also. कि हम मैनेज कैसे करेंगे हमारे इतने सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स का जो है.
This will just be a addition to the normal EHS rules, your worker safety regulations. If it was mandatory to wear boots and helmets, now it will be mandatory to wear your mask. It will be mandatory to wash your hands every few hours, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours. It will be mandatory to follow a social distancing. There'll be a supervisor who should be looking into all of that. So all these things will get added into already being practiced kind of safety norms. But if you're doing social distancing, there are times when the slab is being laid. So that time workers work in a very close proximity. Maybe the numbers can be reduced. Maybe you'll take slightly more time to do that, but still get there eventually. But these kind of delays, I don't think would go on beyond the next 3-4 months till this
Yeah.
whole thing comes into
Yes.
our grasp.
I think so. We'll have to make some provisions for coming few 4 months that the labor stays on the site itself,
Yeah, yeah.
because
Give,
then their susceptibility of infection is lower
yeah.
and they're in a more isolated environment.
The more
Yes.
you keep them in controlled environments, of course, you are going to
So
reduce their
hopefully
exposure.
all the buildings will relax their rules for this 3-4 months,
I think
where
we
they
will
allow
all,
the labor to stay.
yeah, we
Lot
will
of
all figure out a way around it. Even when we used to have meetings, we used to have a hajum of sometimes laborers and workers coming and asking us for solution, you know. So then, of course, we'll say no. पांच लोग आओ, पहले उनका
हाँ,
खत्म करते हैं. Then
yeah.
they go away with the
थोड़ा
fight.
हम लोगों को अपने आप को थोड़ा ट्रेन करना पड़ेगा.
Yeah, so it's a new thing that we just need to practice, and
मतलब
it's
मैं तो
not.
लेबर पे जाके हक भी कर लेता था ना सेंटर.
हाँ, so
But Sandha, you had actually, while we were discussing the site management, you had raised a very important point. You had raised a point that in case of a second lockdown, so see, even we anticipate that, right now, government is trying to flatten the curve and everything. पर एक बार वो flatten the curve हो गया, काम वापस start हुआ, तो definitely infection rate will again rise, थोड़ा सा, right? थोड़ा सा, whatever. We are hoping that the bump will be a little less, but there will be a bump. So there might be a situation where the government puts in a second lockdown to really curtail the problem, to, nip it in the bud. So in that case, what happens?
So it's like what you had mentioned, among all the countries that had really dealt with this pandemic, the best was Taiwan. And why
Yes.
Taiwan had dealt with it the best is because they had already been exposed to the SARS infection, I think earlier, if I'm getting the name
Yes.
right, or some other infection. So the minute this happened, they issued a complete lockdown. They had procedures, they were aware, they knew exactly what to do. So now we are better prepared. The minute it happens, we know what to do. So most of the developers will see to it that the labor does not leave the site.
Yes.
They will see to it that accommodation is done for them, whether it is in makeshift tents also, whether it is mobile toilets also. But food, accommodation should be provided for these laborers and in good, decent hygienic condition so that they don't increase their exposure by
But
traveling.
I would like to add to this for our viewers that one or two of our developer clients have been quite insightful and had a foresight that they made the
Yes,
labor stay, and we are actually, in fact, starting work on a building project in a week, right?
yes,
So,
yes, absolutely.
so some people have been really proactive and have understood the situation well and have reacted in time. Good point. It was.
Good point. Okay.
Yes, yes. Now, coming to the holy grail of all projects, site delivery, which all matters, all the drawings and everything, and site management and labor management and client management boils down to site deliveries eventually. So, site delivery पे क्या impact पड़ेगा तेरे को क्या लग रहा
You answer this. This sounds like an interview you're taking of mine. You answer this.
Arey Baba, I have to look intelligent. I'm forcing myself to look intelligent, and I don't have the answer, so I'm making you answer.
Acha. So, the projects would be delayed, of course, because to pick up speed, okay, of course, the 1.5 month that we have lost or 2 months that we have lost,
Yes,
all projects
that
are
is
going to
gone.
get delayed by that amount of days,
That is the
definitely.
baseline for everybody.
That's the baseline. But even to pick up speed, okay, say for an
Yes.
interior project which would normally have gotten over in 3 to 4 months' time, will take a month more. Because to pick up that momentum, I mean, it's not only about labor, many of the labor have gone back for them to come
Yes.
back, for the supply chain of the materials to start off. Even if the labor is there, the material to come back, most construction sites have material which can take care of construction to happen for the next 1 month. Then once the supply chain starts and the material starts slowly trickling in, I still see a delay of around a month and a half. And
So say it's safe to say that an interior project will suffer a month plus one and a
month,
half months of lockdown, so 2.5 months in all.
yes,
Architecture 2 months plus one and a
month,
half months, so
yes,
three and a
three
half
months,
months.
3.5 months,
Urban design projects, I think so 4 months safe to say.
four
But
months at least.
I feel that supply chain will not be a problem. तो एक तो एट अ बेसिक लेवल डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स के पास भी माल है, कंपनियों के पास भी माल है, और रिटेलर्स के पास भी माल है. So
Yeah,
coming for a 1 month period with a decline in genuine requirement for goods, supply chain में मुझे problem नहीं लगती because the logistic companies are already churning right now because they are supplying their essential goods and everything. जैसे ही government बोलेगी okay start delivering the goods, they would already have their people in place, trucks in place, all managed, well oiled. So logistics, I don't think so is an issue from my perspective.
fair, yeah, fair point.
जैसे मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑफ गुड्स में असर पड़ेगा कि प्लाईवुड
हाँ,
बन रही है तो उसको थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा बनने में. हम लोगों को ही 1 महीना लगेगा पिकअप करने में एक इंटीरियर प्रोजेक्ट में, या 2 महीना लगेगा एक आर्किटेक्चर प्रोजेक्ट में करने में, तो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग भी उस 2 महीने में या 1 महीने में विल कैप्चर.
once it gets kick-started, so it will have a curve, a rising curve to come back to its normal
Yes, yes.
production
हाँ,
level.
but it will definitely have an impact. How big we can only speculate.
Good point, but very good point.
हम लोगों ने ब्रॉडली इम्पैक्ट ऑन एग्जिस्टिंग प्रोजेक्ट्स डिस्कस कर लिया है. ओके, अब आए हम लोग होली ग्रेल, जो कि हर कंपनी का आई थिंक सो कंसर्न होने वाला है. व्हाट आर द काइंड ऑफ प्रोजेक्ट्स दैट वी आर लुकिंग एट which will get launched, and one is whether they will get launched or not.
So there are different kind of projects, right, Sam?
Yes.
So okay, taking on residential, I I don't see why new projects wouldn't be launched. Okay, maybe they will reduce the specifications and maybe the total selling price of that apartment or whatever would be brought down a little bit. Maybe they will go a bit simpler. Commercial, they'll take a little bit of while just to see where the market is going.
My counter argument to your first 2 points: whichever project is on the fence, which is like launched, has sold a few flats or whatever in residential, they will continue because of RERA and whatever. But I think so. There was anyways a lot of supply in the market when the lockdown hit us. India was anyways in a slump before the lockdown hit. I feel that the developers will play a bit safe, that they will hold back for say 2020. I think so. Now is a holdback year for, as per me, that people will be a bit more conservative in their approach. So all the new projects that they get that they were supposed to launch from ground zero will get halted for some time.
अगर कुछ बहुत अच्छा कमाल हो गया इंडिया के लिए, आई एम श्योर वी आर वेरी ऑप्टिमिस्टिक पीपल यार.
यस यस, ऑफ कोर्स. दूसरा कमर्शियल प्रोजेक्ट्स का, वो तो हम लोगों ने पर्सनली भी एक्सपीरियंस किया दैट आवर क्लाइंट्स गॉट अ बिट ऑफ कोल्ड फीट, कि रिक्वायर्ड है क्या, बड़ा रिक्वायरमेंट है क्या, वेदर वी नीड टू, या आज के फोन कॉल में वेदर वी नीड टू हैव 100% कैपेसिटी ऑफिस. Today's phone call was about that. A few days back our call was about whether they even need it or not. एक साइकोलॉजिकल डैमेज तो हुआ है थोड़ा सा इससे, but I think so वो थोड़ा pessimism because of all this, we getting bombarded with these corona messages and this WhatsApp, and everybody feels that this is the time of doom, which it's not. Everybody bounces back eventually.
Yeah, everybody bounces back, and I think the big thing to help us bounce back will be how the government deals with getting new business funding and how it positions and markets India
Yeah.
post pandemic. So
Yes.
once that happens, I think the scenario is very positive for India. So even though the things might not happen for the next 3-4 months, and it is something I would call the adjusting period. But I think closer to Diwali, we cannot be kept down for so long.
मुझे क्या लग रहा है सैंटा कि गवर्नमेंट विल हैव टू से probably hold back projects which are purely expense based. Say Parliament does need an upgrade, and I am a firm believer, you are also a firm believer, that Parliament does need an upgrade. I feel that right now they will have to again be a bit conservative in their approach in spending money on projects which are purely expense based and are not bringing back any value to the general public.
There are different kind of projects. This project, though it seems like an expense, but it will obviously put in money into the economy.
Of course.
So my expense is your income, right?
Yes.
If I am the government, I am spending, it's your income. So you're anyways going to earn out of it. So it will keep the wheels of the economy churning. But at the parallelly, we need to get in more projects, or we need to get some international clients or international funding where we can set up more industries, which will be our kamai.
But that's an indirect return. Indirect return as in that, तूने पैसा खर्चा, किसी ने कमाया, वो खर्चेगा, he will put into the economy. That's an indirect result. I'm talking about more direct results, like say educational institute khole या hospital khole. That's a direct result, goes directly to the people in terms of benefits health as well as economy. Has two-pronged factor. They will have to spend the money, and they should, which we both believe. But I think so for the timing, they might have to defer it, and they will have to put it into projects which are like ports, spend on roads, which are like direct impact items. जिसमें दोनों को फायदा है.
True, but though exactly those kind of projects would get in more of outside funding.
Yes.
So Parliament kind of projects are just keeping the money rotating inside the economy. So the outside money has to be gotten. For that, we need to spend on our infrastructure kind. I think the base is that the government will have to give an injection, a major financial injection. Of course, everybody is talking about tax breaks. That I'm not getting.
I'm not a believer of that. It's nonsense.
I don't want to get into that. I'm no expert on that. But otherwise, I feel the government should get in more funding, international funding, and improve our infrastructure, which will help us get in more international funding and make India a destination of sorts, not only for manufacturing. I don't want to be the factory of the world, but even as a thought destination.
रास्ता तो यही है कि एम्प्लॉयमेंट देनी पड़ेगी, ज्यादा प्रोजेक्ट्स करने पड़ेंगे, पैसे बनाने से ही बचेंगे, पैसे बचाने से नहीं बनेंगे, राइट?
करेक्ट, एब्सोल्युटली.
ये तुझसे ही सीखा था मैंने. The third point is socio-economic impact. Immediately जो हमें दिखता है कि सबसे obvious industries जो up होंगी और सबसे obvious industries जो down होंगी. हम लोगों ने जब डिस्कस किया था तो we both came to the conclusion that two industries which will definitely go down are, one is retail industry, two is going to be food and hospitality. What is your take on it?
Of course, biggest Jatka, airline industry, hotels, restaurants.
वो तो unbelievable है.
Retail. I mean, I don't think anybody has gone to see a movie or go shopping for the last 1 month, and neither will they do so for the coming couple of months.
Actually,
at least.
ये point मैं भी miss कर गया. Yes, they will not go for movies.
I even wonder how these movies are going to be released. So the big budget movies, how will they get the money that they put in? So, but having said that, the industry that will come up that we thought would be healthcare. But हमें ये भी नहीं करना चाहिए कि एक पैंडेमिक हो गया, हमारे पास उतने बेड्स का इंतजाम नहीं था, इसलिए हम हॉस्पिटल्स खोल दें. वो भी नहीं हो कि वो डिमांड. सो समवेयर वी हैव टू बैलेंस आउट, वेट एंड वॉच. यस, हेल्थ केयर इज नीडेड, गुड मिड स्केल लेवल हेल्थ केयर इज नीडेड.
तो अभी एक तो ये हो गया ऑब्वियस, तो हेल्थ केयर है, वो तो सभी के मन में है. हम लोगों ने थोड़ा डेवलप किया था इस टॉपिक के अंदर, तो हम लोग वी हैड कम अप विद दिस वेरी अनयूजुअल इंडस्ट्री व्हिच वी आर थिंकिंग इज गोना बेनिफिट, एंड इट्स द आईटी इंडस्ट्री. And companies are now realizing, all the big corporates are now realizing that they will have to gear up for situations like these. So they are spending on their IT, which is a very interesting thing, काफी interesting है. We have done a very in-depth analysis, and the next point is government impetus for
That we
projects.
did. Government
But we didn't
impeachment.
touch the fact that what kind of projects should government spend on, or should be they will be spending on right away.
We are saying that we want to get all the manufacturing that used to happen. Now we'll be combining the this and the last point, where what happens uh, after the lockdown given the China scenario. So I will have to combine this. So seeing that now China people are going to not be looking at China for some time for doing certain kind of manufacturing, then what happens? Then which are the few countries that can step in and take over from where China is being left out? So those few countries, among them will be us,
Yes.
right? So if so many industries and manufacturing units and offices and whatever has to be set up to cater to that, we also need a lot of power to take care of that.
So you touched a very important point. Is like power in India is like really power hungry right now, and it's not doing enough. रोड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हमारा पुअर है, राइट? तो ये दो तो करना ही है, ये तो डायरेक्टली पता ही है, करना ही पड़ेगा. जो लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स के हिसाब से, सी व्हेन एवरीबॉडी इज राइट नाउ टॉकिंग अबाउट चाइना बंद कर दो, चाइना बंद कर दो, बट माय पॉइंट इज दैट हमें लॉन्ग टर्म स्ट्रेटेजी तो करनी पड़ेगी ना गवर्नमेंट को भी, कि शॉर्ट टर्म में तो हम लोग चलो ये कर रहे हैं कि पावर शॉर्ट टर्म, मतलब दीज आर आल्सो लॉन्ग टर्म प्रोजेक्ट, बट इमीडिएट नजरिए में, इमीडिएट इम्पैक्ट. But then long-term impact, which are like the soft ones, which go below the radar, people don't realize, but they have a big impact on the country. Is one is education, second is healthcare, and healthcare, so we were caught with our pants down this time. Okay, so they must have realized that healthcare में जैसे you rightly said that हमें धीरूभाई अंबानी हॉस्पिटल की जरूरत नहीं है, but एक अच्छे गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल्स तो होने ही चाहिए, बेड्स पर 1000 नंबर्स इंक्रीज होना बहुत जरूरी है इंडिया में. हमारा हेल्थ केयर वीक है, इंडियन गवर्नमेंट को रियलाइज करना ही पड़ेगा, दे हैव टू वर्क ऑन इट. इंडिया वाज वन ऑफ द लास्ट कंट्रीज टू एक्चुअली गेट कोविड इन, सो वी हैड अ ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ रिएक्शन टाइम. तो हम लोगों ने दूसरों की गलतियों से सीखा, वी लर्न फ्रॉम अदर पीपल्स मिस्टेक्स, एंड हेंस वी वर एबल टू मेक अ गुड डिसीजन. बट गॉड फॉरबिड इफ इट वुड हैव हिट अस लाइक इटली, वी वुड हैव बीन इन नो पोजीशन टू हैंडल इट. फाइनल पॉइंट हमारा जो था इज डिपेंडेंसी ऑन चाइना, कि लोग पीपल आर हार्पिंग अबाउट द फैक्ट दैट चाइना के गुड्स बंद कर दो, ये बंद कर दो. तेरा क्या टेक है सिचुएशन?
I completely want to do that, but easier said than done. बंद कर दिया, इसका मतलब रातों रात हमारे पास दूसरे दिन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्री नहीं सेटअप हो सकती है. ऑफ कोर्स वी आर प्रीटी वेल placed to cater to needs, but we also need to understand if people don't go to China and start coming to India in the next 6 months to 1 year, the need will increase. So we have to be ready for that.
So अभी recently सब लोग बात कर रहे थे about there are 3-4 countries which are immediately going to benefit. It's like India, Mexico,
Correct.
Vietnam, these general usual suspects. But I feel that the portion of the pie of the business coming out of China will be dependent on their backbone infrastructure.
Absolutely.
And sadly, India is not.
We are not prepared for it.
We are not prepared for
it. But अगर हमें पता है कि आगे 1 साल के बाद हमें इतनी डिमांड आने वाली है, उसकी तैयारी हमें आज करनी.
There are so many things which are like medicine. हम लोग इतना बोलते हैं pharmacy, India का pharmaceuticals is like brilliant, whatever. All the APIs, जो तेरे जितने भी drugs में जो components जाते हैं, वो लार्जेस्ट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हब तो चाइना ही है. तो दवाई अगर हमने इंडिया में बनाई भी तो भी हम बिजनेस तो चाइना को दे ही रहे हैं,
हम कंपोनेंट्स तो उनसे ले रहे हैं.
एकदम ग्राउंड लेवल पे चाइना को बीट करना 20 इयर्स की गेम है मेरे हिसाब से.
ट्रू, बट इफ वी वांट टू बी, then we have to start getting prepared right now. But I don't think any of the countries that they are talking about who can cater to the manufacturing needs that China currently takes care of, none of those countries would be having production capability right now.
सारा मैन्युफैक्चरिंग लेना भी नहीं चाहिए चाइना से. I am saying we should do only high tech. से बोइंग की अगर फैक्ट्री अगर इंडिया में, आई एम मोर देन हैप्पी. बट अगर केमिकल प्लांट चाइना में है तो इट इज गुड. Let them be the manufacturing hub of chemicals. Why do we want kachra in our country?
We don't want to be the manufacturing hub of everything, but we have our internal strengths.
Yes.
So let's play on our internal strengths. Coming from the industry I come from or we come from, I know that we are very good at metal works, we are very good at glass works, we're very good at some furniture works, textiles. We have an excellent production thing happening nowadays at Morbi in Gujarat for tiles. So
Yes.
these are our internal strengths जो ऑलरेडी हम एक लेवल पे पहुंच चुके हैं, उसको बेटर करते हैं, उसको मार्केट करते हैं, उसको इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे लेके जाते हैं. So let's play on our strengths currently.
So basically, we both are on the same page that we don't want everything coming from China to India.
No, no.
We just want the good stuff.
I don't want India to be the factory of the world.
Yes.
I
Yes.
want people to come to India for the mind of India, for the
Yes.
brains of India. So
Yes.
though we want the best for us and our country, we also realize the problems that
Problems
lie
are there.
ahead. But we also know that nothing cannot be solved by a little bit of planning and willpower or willingness to do it. Vision that comes in from the leadership, and of
Yes.
course, as a population, we have shown amazing restraint in the way we have behaved. The population is brilliant. Now we just need the leadership to do the right things to take this country to a great level, and the opportunity is now.
Lockdown is probably the best opportunity India has got
Yeah,
in a long time to
yeah.
do well.
It,
It's
yes,
up to us to capitalize on it.
yes, it has given us a lot of time to think, analyze, understand our strengths, where we need to go,
Yeah.
realize what we are doing wrong, and let's just work on it.
On that note, let's sign off. And thank you so much. I had
We'll
a
be back.
great time with you. And we will come back with some other points. And whoever has a suggestion on what discussions we can have, please comment below in the comment section.
We also want people to join us or at least give their own thought processes, similar or different.
Signing off now from Infinity Design
Bye.
Studio on 2 different locations. Bye bye and see you soon.
Bye.